Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Irma Ashafika binti Syaruddin. This semester, I was having my industrial training in Malaysian Agricultural Research and Development Institute at Serdang, Selangor. In this video, I will present my industrial training activities and achievements that have been made during the internship program. These are the contents of my presentation. The objective of the organizations are to conduct commercial research and production. Second, to develop, promote and export research findings. Third, to provide extension services to the agriculture, food and agro-based industries. Fourth, to serve as a center that provides expert services in food, agriculture and agro-based industry such as consultancy services, laboratory analysis, quality assurance and contract research and development. Next, the industrial training objectives. First, to expose the students to actual working environment in their related field. Second, to instill the spirit of teamwork and good relationship between students and employees. Third, to develop skills and techniques directly applicable to their careers. And lastly, to encourage students to appreciate the value of ethics of their profession. Next, the industrial training objectives to meet the organization's objectives. First, with the opportunity through this industrial training, the organization can involve prospective graduates in venturing into specialized fields in the agriculture industry before starting work. Thus, students can train and further strengthen their skills in research findings in line with the objectives of the organization. Next, the scope of work that have been done. First, the plant tissue culture that begin with the media preparation and then continue with subculturing of the black ginger plant. Next, the microbial activities. It start with making the bacterial stock, serial dilution technique, and determination of zone of inhibition. The last scope that have been done is the determination of bioactive ingredients such as flavonoid, phenolic, and polysaccharide from aloe vera, Chinese ginger, black ginger, and Centella asiatica, which start from the process of extraction. The main ingredients of this media are MS powder, castor sugar, asparagine, glutamine arginine, hormone D, hormone A, and G4 cell. The G4 cell should be transferred after checking the pH of the solution, which must be in the range of 5.7 to 5.8. The media prepared known as K1 was used for micropropagation. Micropropagation is the tissue culture technique used for rapid vegetative multiplication of plants. This method will produce several plants and genetically identical to the original plant from where they were grown. Next, the subculture of black ginger. It requires the removing of the leaf and root part with sterilized equipment such as forceps, scalpel blade to minimize the chances of contamination. Then, they will be dried and transferred into the new K1 media for growth. The bacterial stock was prepared to increase the number of bacteria and stored for a long period to be used for other purposes in the future. The process requires an overnight culture and must be stored in the 30% of glycerol stock to ensure the bacteria can survive longer while keeping it in the chiller with temperature of -80 degrees Celsius and -20 degrees Celsius. A serial dilution technique is a series of sequential dilutions used to reduce a dense culture of cells to a more usable concentration. Each dilution will reduce the concentration of bacteria by a specific amount. The number of colonies will be determined by colonies forming unit or known as CFU, which estimates the number of bacteria or fungal cells in a sample which are viable. The zone of inhibition is a circular area around the spot of the antibiotic in which the bacteria colonies do not grow. The zone of inhibition can be used to measure the susceptibility of the bacteria towards the antibiotic. The sample used to test the susceptibilities of the bacteria were the black ginger and oil fixed with the volume of 100 microliter on each of the holes and leads that has been made. The antibiotics used, which was vancomycin, was observed to exhibit the bacteria and forming the zone of inhibition. For bioactive ingredients, firstly, the extraction of sample must be done to determine the content desired. The sample used are aloe vera, Chinese ginger, black ginger, and Centella asiatica. The sample had undergone several treatments in the glass house and grow as a crop to be used for research purpose. So in this scope, the sample were used to determine the flavonoid, phenolic, and polysaccharide content. The determination of flavonoid content. The sample tested was the new and old sample of black ginger solution. The new and old black ginger sample with concentration of 0.05 gram per milliliter was tested by using the standard of 10. The highest concentration possessed by the old black ginger sample with absorbance value of 0.6584 and concentration of 5.095. The determination of phenolic content. The same new and old sample of the black ginger was used to test the phenolic content. The highest concentration of phenolic content from the sample belongs to the new sample, which was 168.04. Next, the determination of the polysaccharide content. I managed to identify all the standard curve of the polysaccharide. From the standard made, the sample can be proceeded to be tested in determining the polysaccharide content. The standard made were from the range of 0.1 until 1000. From the sample of aloe vera tested via spectrophotometer, the results show the highest concentration of polysaccharide content was 11.79 with sample concentration of 0.1 gram per milliliter. The task that was expected to perform for the remaining week will be to proceed the other sample testing such as aloe vera, Chinese ginger, black ginger, and Centella asiatica to determine the total flavonoid, phenolic, and polysaccharide content. The calculation to determine the total flavonoid, phenolic, and polysaccharide content also will be learned. In the remaining week, I also will continue with regular activities such as folding aluminium foil as a cap to cover the conical flask containing media, cutting paper for plant tissue culture, and autoclave flatwares as well as waste. By understanding the biological basis of learning and applying the theoretical concept as well as practical knowledge, it helps me to enhance my job readiness, workplace communication skills with other people, and also the time management to finish and accomplish the task given. The value added that had been contributed was getting used to working under pressure and able to import crucial information and data regarding the tasks such as the suitable method for determining the polysaccharide content. And then I also possessed creativity and better judgment because there were a few times where I had to decide on my own on the method used for the task given. I believe by this value that has been contributed, it has facilitated the organization's work. The new process obtained was from the scope of plant tissue culture. It was my first time to practice hands-on training to prepare the media until the subculturing process. I have contributed to new processes to the organization. There were the determination of bioactive ingredients in aloe vera, Chinese ginger, black ginger, and Centella asiatica, such as the flavonoid, phenolic, and polysaccharide content via spectrophotometer. The next one was the determination of the zone of inhibition activities from the sample of black ginger and oil figs. From the interpersonal skills that have been developed by sharing and acquiring information between different divisions of the same department to share information and solve problems, the relationship with other staff in my department was built with good networking. In my opinion, I would suggest that the Industrial Training Institute to provide an allowance for the students because there might be students from other states where they are financially unstable and therefore could not supported by their parents. I believe the allowance really helps to lower the burden that the students bear while attending industrial training to support their daily life expenses such as food and petrol. To conclude, I learned a lot of new knowledge and built various skills that needed when exposed to the working environment. The connection I made with people has left me a good impact to interact professionally. Last but not least, I'd like to express my deepest gratitude to Dr. Zuraida Abdul Rahman and Dr. Muzammil Mustafa as my supervisor in Mardi and college respectively for their guidance and help. not to forget all the staff and internship friends for their kindness and support. Thank you.